Het-Heru, Assalamu alaikum, Namaste, Haru Nefer. This is Kasankma Keparu with another video for you. And in this video, I want to talk about 3 secrets to transform your reality. Really interesting, right? But before I do that, I want you to hit the like button on this video. And if this is your first time to my channel, welcome. Hit subscribe to get notifications of when I upload videos or go live. And don't forget to become a Patreon supporter. You can do so for as little as $1 or $5 per month. And with that, you'll receive exclusive videos on divination, videos on how to put together a ritual, videos on creating amulets, magical amulets, and working with other kinds of magic. So I want to talk about the subject matter of today, which is the 3 techniques to transform your reality. Now, we all go through life, and nobody is protected from having things happen. And a lot of times things can blindside you. That's just how life is. And I don't care how powerful of a magi you are, there's always something that's going to crop up and you're going to say, oh, wow, I didn't see that coming. You know, this is why us as magi's need to come up with techniques that can help us in those moments of truth. Because I'll tell you what, when you know, they say that the bad thing happens in 3s, right? So when these things occur, you'll notice that they occur in succession. You'll have one thing happen, and another thing happen, and another thing happen. Before you know it, you're bombarded and you're all stressed out, which is basically coming from the worry, the anxiety, and it can really have a profound impact on your immune system to where, you know, your defenses get down, and you start to get sick. Some will say, well, this is a psychosomatic type of illness, but nevertheless, it still affects you. So it's important that we come up with techniques, you can call them spells, mantras, affirmations, that will allow us to deal with these things that may come up and blindside us. And if you are a practitioner of the Meduna Ter Oracle, which is the Oracle of Tahuti, the correct name is the Great Oracle of Tahuti, you'll know that there is a deity or let's say energy that governs that type of thing, which is Wajet. And Wajet is symbolized by the serpent's tail, and it's in red. And in the ancient Kemetic culture, they used the serpent as a metaphor, as a way to communicate a shocking pain, because when you were bitten by a snake, it was like a thunderbolt. It's like a shocking pain that would go through you. So they used that as a metaphor to communicate those things in your life which may pop out of nowhere and send you into a state of shock. You know, you say, oh, I didn't see that coming. For example, you know, your engine light comes on in your car, and it turns out you have to replace the engine, which is going to cost you, set you back maybe like you know, $1,000. So that kind of like, oh, very upsetting, you know. So these are things that we need to prepare for. And the one thing that we want to do is basically protect our health so that we don't allow these things to stress us out and to send us into an area where we don't want to be. Now, as I'm speaking about that, it's also important to note that when you are preoccupied with these things that may come up in life and hit you, it exacerbates, it creates more of those things, because there's a momentum and a cascading effect. Meaning, if I am worried about something, if I continue to worry about that thing, I inadvertently command my spirit to shift me to a reality where there's more of that thing happening. Now, in Vadim Zeland's book, Reality Transurfing, we can even equate this to what he calls is the pendulums, because a pendulum will do is they'll poke you in a way, you know, and that poke is trying to get your attention to play its game. So the poke could be your mate yelling at you out of nowhere. The poke could be your boss yelling at you, or a false accusation made against you, or something of that nature. Now, how you respond to the pendulum is very, very important, you know, because if you respond with being upset angry, what you do is you feed that pendulum or that herbivore, which is a spirit, and you make it stronger. So Neem Zealand goes through an entire chapter in his book on reality transurfing, spelling out how not to respond, the proper ways that you should respond to the pendulum, you know? And one of the ways he talks about was responding in a way where it's the exact opposite. Maybe you start laughing, maybe you start giggling. But the important thing is not to play its game, because it needs you. It's an energy vampire. It needs you. So what it will do, because it's an intelligence, is it will create problems in your life to see your reaction. And if you react appropriately, meaning being angry and upset with a lot of anxiety, then it will create more of that. So it can feed off your energy. Well, what we're going to do is I'm going to talk about 3 ways to deal with that, so that you don't get trapped in the game of the pendulum or that herbivore, so that you won't have these things continually happen. And this is something I teach in my course, Reality Manifestation. Now, this is only for use when you have things that come up that aren't that big a deal, but they're still annoyances. If you're going through a major thing, for example, if you found out you have an illness and you need surgery, or, you know, I don't know, like a car crash, or, you know, somebody stole something from you and it's really like you got your apartment ransacked, that's a different type of thing. You'll need to do a major ritual for that. But this is something on a smaller scale, because it's those small things that can mushroom into the big things. So if we're able to take these small things and deal with them appropriately, then they won't add up and cause your life a lot more trouble than what they're worth. So I want to say hi to the Magi's in the chat room. So Balance and Harmony, Het-Heru, Michael Scott, Haroon Nefer, and Jennifer Rice, Het-Heru. So now, the first thing you need to do, if you're poked, as we say, or if something happens and you notice, oh man, what is this? You know, I don't know if you ever saw like The Honeymooners with Ralph Crandon, who when they increased his rent, he used to have this little poem. He would say, "Needles and pens is a happy man that sings," or something like that. And that was his way of addressing it. So let's say something happens and it unnerves you, right? And you're like, oh, I've got to deal with this. Well, the first thing you need to do is to quickly do a meditation. Close your eyes. Now, I carry around in my phone a number of audio tracks, which are meditative tracks that I listen to on the spot. So if something happens that, you know, I'm like, oh, well, this wasn't expected, or I didn't want this to happen. So I go to a private area, I close my eyes, and for about 5 minutes, you don't have to do this any more than that. 5 minutes is good. Close your eyes and visualize the way you want this situation to unfold, all right? Really see the colors, see the setting and the environment, visualize that, okay? That's very, very important. And listen to the track, your meditation track. If you want to know what's good, I can recommend some stuff for you to listen to. And the best type are the ones that have a mantra, you know, a success mantra, okay? Now, something has happened. You've taken the appropriate action by going to a private spot to meditate for about 5 minutes. What's next? Well, the thing that's going to really activate and change the reality, and let me just emphasize this, what's going to happen is you're shifting to a new reality where that thing either no longer exists or it changes totally. It takes 180 degree turn into something that's positive for you. And the way that this is done is a very, very important secret ingredient. Maria, Het-Heru, a very important secret ingredient, and that is you must have a positive feeling within your body, within who you are. You must embody that feeling. And it must be organic. It must be natural. Don't force it. So what I'm saying is visualize the positive outcome that you want, and allow your person to feel excited about that positive outcome. All right? That's the key, that excitement. Because a lot of people in life that succeed in things are those individuals who have gone through a process of where they've allowed themselves to be really excited about something. And that alone was the key to turn on that spiritual power or that magic. All right, very important. Now, the next thing is just as important. Expect the outcome to happen as you visualize it and as you feel it. Expectancy is a very powerful tool. Expect it. Kasank, what did you say? I said, expect it. Have faith that it will. And the next step, which is kind of the fourth step, which is the added bonus, is to forget about it. Let it go. Cast it out to the universe. Don't dwell on it. Don't bring it up. Don't play the scenarios in your mind. Let it go. And trust that it will come to fruition. Now you may say, well, Kasank, suppose it doesn't. Well, you're still going to be alive, right? So everything still moves on. And if you understand how magic works, what I often say is it's not everything will work out the way you expect it, but it's during the course of the process where you're learning the technique. Because the most important thing is not necessarily sometimes the outcome, but the most important thing is that you have learned to utilize the technique properly so that you perfect it each time you use it. The house of Lemira, Het-Heru. So you must cast it out, not think about it. Now move on to your next problem, because you're always going to have stuff that crops up, okay? And that's actually a good thing, to be honest with you, because we're taught in the magical practice that when we want something, we should have 2 or 3 things that we want. And typically what we'll do is we'll create a sigil. A sigil is a symbol of the thing that you want. And if, for example, if I want $5,000, I'll create a sigil for $5,000, and then I can place that sigil somewhere in my house. And then I'll create another sigil, and that sigil will say, I want Halle Berry in my bed by noon tomorrow. Just kidding. And I can write that sigil out. Now, what's happening here? I totally forgot about the first sigil, about the $5,000. Now I'm more focused on the Halle Berry, right? Which is good. I go on to my third sigil, write that out. What's the next thing I want? I want to be king of the world, you know? So I write that out. Now, what have I done? I've forgotten about the first and the second sigils. I'm just focused on this third sigil. Now, the chances of the first sigil coming into manifestation is very good because I'm not thinking about it, I'm not worrying about it. Now, when you think about something and you worry about it, we call that excess potential. And that's what actually Vadim Zeland calls it in his book, Reality Transurfing, excess potential, because now you're putting so much energy into the pendulum, boof, it's going to swing back and hit you harder. So you're going to have the opposite effect. The way I define that is if the thing you want, you place it on too high of a pedestal, then you're playing a mind game. You're communicating to your mind that it's outside of your grasp, that you can never actually achieve it. And for example, if I really said to myself, I want to be president of the United States, and I thought about it a lot and worried about, well, I've got to get PAC money, I've got to pick an affiliation, a political affiliation, there's a lot of things that I have to go through, and I'm really caught up in all that, then I've placed too much importance on that. And now on a subconscious level, I think it's not within my grasp. Do you understand? And a lot of guys have these things when they see a woman that they deem beautiful, their person deems beautiful, but they don't on a subconscious level believe they could ever get with a girl like that because the girl is out of their reach. This is the mind trickery, the mental jujitsu you do on yourself. So this is why you shouldn't be focused on the thing. You move on to your next thing and wash, rinse, and repeat. Just do the technique over again with the other thing that crops up. Because these annoyances can keep happening, but the more vigilant you are, the better off you are because you're creating your reality. And you're not letting something step in your reality and take control of you. So get into the habit of when these things crop up, your best friend says something you don't like. You don't necessarily have to confront your best friend and say, I didn't like what you said. Meditate, see him come back and apologize to you, or see her come back and apologize to you. Do that. If you're with your mate and you have an argument, you don't have to go back to your mate and say, let's have a sit down and talk, which communication is always good. You can just meditate and see your mate coming to you and saying, hey, let's reconcile this, let's talk. And you watch the wonder, because you're shifting to a new reality. Even when you get poked by the pendulum or you're poked by the ergowar, you've just stepped into a new reality. That's why it's poking you. You understand what I'm saying here? Okay? So every time something happens in your day-to-day life that you feel was an unwanted intrusion upon your reality, you sit down and do that quick 5-minute meditation, followed by the positive, excited feeling, followed by the expectancy that it will unfold the way you want, followed by forgetting about it. And I do this all the time. I'm very vigilant with my reality. I always say it's my reality and everybody else is just a guess, because I can eject you from my reality at any time. And really, when I'm injecting you, I'm just shifting to a new reality so you won't follow me. Okay? That's exactly what I'm doing. Maria, Het-Heru. Okay, and Natsle, Het-Heru. So this is the type of thing that you want as part of your magical arsenal, so that you can address these things as they happen. Just want to say to my Magi's, hit the like button. Now, the other thing that you can do is, I announced yesterday that I started my bottled water company. And if you guys are drinking your traditional water, which actually does nothing for you, I would encourage you all to step up to the plate and buy my bottled water, which will do the exact same thing I spelled out in this techniques. Now, this one is called Success. And this one actually has the mantra on it. And it already has a mantra, Brazing. And that mantra is a success mantra. So going according to what we said before, if you have something that happens and you're saying, well, where did that come from? That blindsided me. How do I deal with that? Well, you're going to start drinking the success water. You're going to take some of the water. All right. And since the water, we know from Dr. Emoto, water has what we call, the molecules retain information. They have what we call water memory. So anything that the water comes in close proximity to, it imprints upon the molecules. All right. And that's phenomenal. Water memory. Look it up. It's phenomenal. Also, Dr. Benveniste, he pioneered this because he was looking into some homeopathic remedies. And he found out that the water molecules we were working with started maintaining DNA. And he was astonished by this. So we know that if we imprint upon the water a mantra for success, or binaural beats or music that has subliminal messages on it, the water will retain that memory. And when you drink it, the water will mix with your body chemistry to now where your vibrational frequency will change and you'll shift to the reality of success. And for those of you who weren't here yesterday, the water also comes in things like confidence. For those who are lacking confidence, or you need the ability to go out there and take the bull by the horns and really kill it, get the confidence water. We have an attraction water that can make you more attractive if you're looking for a mate. So sign up. The water is only $24.95 for 5 bottles of water. And that is a deal, $24.95 for 5 bottles of water. And I'll put the link so that you can order the water in the chat box. And on that website, we're going to be putting a lot of great information about the wonders of water and what it could do for us if we treat it with respect and we properly charge it or program the water. We actually use other things too. We use copper, because copper is a conductor. We use quartz crystals. The quartz crystals themselves have been programmed with success, and we use them to charge the water as well. We don't actually put them in the water. You don't want to do that, but we keep them in the same vicinity as the water, because you know it creates an electromagnetic field. And in that field, charges the water molecules, and the water molecules will retain that memory. And that's what Dr. Emoto found out, that when he froze the water molecules and put them under a microscope, he could see how they were transforming and changing into beautiful geometric shapes. So we need to take advantage of that, okay? Let me just see if I have any questions. Maria, no, we don't sell about a gallon yet, but we will. When we grow the facilities, we'll be able to have, sell bigger bottles, and because it's tough to charge the bigger bottles, But like I said, we have the special, which is 5 bottles for $24.95. And it tastes like just regular water. It's just no difference in the taste. It's spring water. It's very healthy for you, except the water molecules are going to go to work on your behalf to bring you success in life or wealth, depending upon which one you take. All right. And I have now, this is the only thing I drink a day. I don't drink soda. I don't drink anything else but my charged water, because I know, and it has a cumulative effect. The more water you drink, the more it changes your vibrational frequency, the more you'll shift to a parallel world to where you will have the things that you want. All right. So instead of just drinking plain water that can't do anything for you, I really advise you to start looking into our water and get yourself into that parallel reality, man, because we need to start changing the vibration of the planet. And the one thing that we can do with that is through the water. Now, the reason why I'm saying you can go with the water, because sometimes, people work at the office, they can't dismiss themselves to go meditate, that easily. So, but one thing you can do is just pull out that water from your desk, take a sip of it or a couple of sips, and you are good to go. It's just like you have meditated. And remember that Sanskrit mantra that is in the water molecule now goes into you, and you start to vibrate according to that frequency. So for example, this one, as I said before, is success, and it's charged with the Brazing mantra for success. Now, I don't have to sit here and just start meditating, Brazing. That's over. This is the 21st century. We now can just drink the water charged with the mantra, and now it's in us now. And it's going to attract that success. It's going to attract that wealth. You know what I'm saying? And that's key, because anything like, one of the things that I had issues with those who practice the ancient ways, which is good, is that our ancient ancestors, the Cometian people, the Mayan, those from Atlantis, would have perfected and taken their skills to the next level. So although it's good to be traditionalists and practice ancient ways, we've got to update things for modern day. And this is what I am doing, is I'm taking the ancient mantras that our ancestors meditated up in the temples and the mountains, and I take this to the next level by charging the water with those meditations. And there you go. And in subsequent videos that I'm going to be producing, I'm going to show you how you can charge your own water with any vibration, okay? And it could be it's not even expensive to do it. And I'll give you a class on that so you guys can start doing that on your own, because that's important, Again, there's there's a term that we call this, like this, of course, is active water, but we call this dead water because it's not really doing anything for you. You know what I mean? So, and they also sell water bottles that have the crystals at the bottom and stuff like that. But, that's not the most effective way, because the water bottle is very expensive. The crystals are very expensive, but we handle that on our side when we manufacture this. We handle all the crystals and stuff, so you don't have to go buy crystals. You don't go out there and have to find the right mantra and everything. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, Kevin, Het-Heru, what's going on? Jennifer, all right, good to see you. Love, laugh, and live, Isis land. Oh, I love you guys' name, man. Well, she's asking about love, laugh, and live, asking about worship, the Kemetic way. The Kemetian people were very, want to use the term religious. And they had what, you know, modern Egyptologists call spells, which really were nothing more than prayers. And the prayers encompassed a lot of different things, you know. But the most important thing that you need to understand is ceremony. And this thing called ceremonial magic. But if you study Japanese culture, Chinese culture, which is an offset of the African culture, is that whatever they did encompassed a ceremony in it, which was really a mini ritual. It was a mini ritual. So you could be drinking tea, but in that practice of drinking tea, you were also trying to manifest wealth, you know? And that's how sophisticated our ancestors were, to be able to take a mundane task like drinking tea, but also embed within that ceremony the ability to attract wealth, okay? So I just wanted to jump in there and answer your question there. But anyway, guys, so again, if you want to know more about this technique, the 3 or the 4th bonus technique as well, about how to deal with the transforming your reality, send me an email, and also go to the website watersofnun.com. That's watersofnun.com. Order your water. There's also information about the process there and what water can do for you. And there's also a cool article about Tyler Perry, who went into a hotel and he saw a $9 bottle of water. So that article I thought was funny, and we posted that on the site itself. All right. So I want to thank you Magis, for attending. And do not forget, we have ebooks below that you can download for free and start reading more on magical practice. And I will be releasing my 2nd edition of the new Kepler Ankh. That's going to be coming out in a couple of weeks. And that also talks about water memory, but a lot more stuff about transforming reality, and gets into a lot of the detailed magical practices in that 2nd edition. And if you've ordered, like I said, if you ordered the new Kepler Ankh and you got the ebook, the 2nd edition you'll get for free, and it'll be delivered to you. All right. So I want to thank you all for attending. This is Kasank Maha Kepler, son of Ma'at and Tahuti, and my aunt is the beautiful Het-Heru. Till my next video, Amun Ra.